to stop. Yeah, and if you don't like it, you better take your ass up to the snooty box, because this is the loud spot. Okay, see you later.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian Cosby, right out of Oklahoma City. We got two co-hosts today joining us. We got Ava Gore joining us, and we got Evan Chavez is here for his second live band interview, and we got Elias from the band Nonpoint. What's up, dude?
How's all?
How
are you doing?
Dude, your band is still making music. It's been like, what, 25 years?
No, since 97 we originally formed, and then got signed in late 99, early 2000.
What was it like being signed to a record label back then? And I know you guys have your own record label now, right? So what was it like being signed to a record label back then compared to what you think it's like bands getting signed nowadays?
A lot of the infrastructure of the whole music industry has changed quite a bit. You know, you have multiple delivery, mediums that I've actually seen happen. Our first record, that Statement record, was on tape and CD, and then watched vinyl come back, and then watched the whole downloading an MP3 streaming format start to take place. So seeing all the delivery happen, you try to stay as nimble as possible. And the major label model used to work really well. It's a big machine that has a lot of dollars and allows you to get into basically in the rooms that you normally couldn't get into by yourself. Nowadays, especially with a brand like mine, we're able to get into a lot of those rooms on our own now. So, having the fan base that we have and with the teams that we've built now, independence is a very strong model these days that allow fans like myself to utilize their fan base to fund things, and then at the same time to stay nimble and allow ourselves to be able to take a little bit more of a financial risk where the major label model wouldn't.
What was it scary to when you first decided to put the record label together? And Nonpoint's a huge band, obviously tons of fans everywhere. Was it still, even with your fan base, was it still scary to kind of go off on your own and release, like Ruthless is your new song out? I hear it all the time on Octane. Fucking love it, dude. Was it scary though to release it just under your own record label?
It is, because not scary. At the end of the day, we're a business, so
right.
And having done as many deals as we've had, and having as many accountants as I've had, and managers as I've had, and agents, you do a lot of negotiating. You do a lot of contract signing. So you try to get as well steeped on the industry knowledge as you possibly can. So we did that first. We made sure that we had our team, and that we did the numbers and said, okay, here's what we kind of did last time. Here's what we project to do this time. Is it a good idea to spend this much money here? Is it a good idea to spend this much money here? So taking a lot of the same decisions and choices that labels were met with, now we were met with. But at the same time too, where we don't have to worry about being met with, hey, we would like to do this now. Can we do it? We just look at the numbers and go, all right, if we want to spend the money, we spend the money, and we just do it.
Yeah, so, I do want to mention how Alex says, first and foremost, Elias, you're truly one of the best performing vocalists ever. I strive to give energy and you bring every time. Thank you for being so humble. And that's a great compliment from him. And you do have a very unique, like whenever it's Nonpoint, I don't even have to look to see who's singing the song. I know it's Nonpoint. Like you have a unique voice that you've had since Evan actually introduced me to you guys.
I did.
Then.
Back in high school. Yeah, it was. There's just something about like the cadence too, and the way you deliver your lines. Like, what is it? Was it bullet with the name on it? When you go like, "Oh, I'm working harder than 100 black mules down in Mexico," and you just start bouncing with it. Like, it's like when that cadence kicks in, even if it wasn't your voice, you could easily identify that's a Non-Point song, and it's iconic.
I think wordplay is one of the things that I love to do the most. I like to. That's why I get to flex, honestly. And, I know a lot of people, even to my detriment sometimes, I get very wordy and I get very, very crazy with some of the rhythms that I do, especially in the upcoming stuff. I'm getting pretty wild. I have a couple different styles that I'm really trying to aim at, through a little bit of research, getting back into hip hop again and really diving into some of the new, as well as some of the old, and getting into the history of it, the actual inner workings of what a lot of those styles are, and seeing the mind behind them, and being able to apply those kind of styles. I really wasn't a huge Tupac fan growing up. I was way on the Biggie side. I grew up on the East Coast. That kind of party vibe. I grew up in South Florida, so that that bad boy sound was cool down south.
Yeah.
So I really didn't pay a lot of mind, to Tupac, but digging back in, I'm starting to see what it was all about. Having that kind of preacher style, standing at the podium, having something really like epic to say and meaningful to say, and that's something that I really like to do. So a lot of the stuff that I've been writing with, and this is coming off the tails of songs like Buscando Me and even Last Dying Breath, where I'm getting a chance to have that kind of standing on the podium.
Ava has a question, and then we're going to go to Alex and ask his question. Go ahead, Ava.
It wasn't really a question. I wanted to go back to the label stuff and just say that it's awesome to hear that you take the risk, because we just got our first record deal, and like they're really not committing to much, like in the contract, like they're not offering much money. It's like there's nothing in it that says anything about marketing. It's just like it's hard.
It's a different world.
When you know what, it's funny that you say that. A lot, you have that same gut feeling for 20 years doing it, and asking those same questions like, hey, why isn't this, and getting the same kind of, well, we'll work on it, we'll give it, maybe, the numbers aren't adding up right, we would be spending outside, we really want to work on the next, what about your next thing, are you writing new music, like that kind of stuff, where it's kind of just where you really don't feel like you're giving the body of work the attention that you gave it for that 6 months, 7 months that it took you to write it.
Right.
There were records that it took me over a year to write, and 2 songs saw the light of day. But here I am with Ruthless, and I'm only one song is out, and it's gotten so much love, and it's because we're giving it all its attention.
Yeah.
And people know what our next plan is this same thing. We're going to do the same thing with Ruthless, with our next song, Doves, and with our next song, and our next song. People are going to see video representation. People are going to see artwork. People are going to see merchandise that attaches to those songs that for the last 20 years I had fans going, yo, I loved your single, but this was my song. I wish I would have seen a video for it. I wish I would have seen something like this for it. I wish I would see a T-shirt like that. Like that kind of stuff, we're taking the risk and spending the money to make sure that in one way or another, the entire body of work is.
Yeah. Alex wants to know who's your current vocalist that blows your mind, no matter what genre.
Okay, I'll give you my top 3 when it comes to, first of all, hip hop.
Okay.
You don't know who Fonte is? Write that down. Phonte.
I'm gonna write that down.
I'll write it down.
Okay.
He's from the Little Brother crew from back in the day in the South. You'll hear a lot of Drake, a lot of like some of this man is probably one of the best that I've ever heard in the game that doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
Awesome, man.
Number
Oh,
one.
yeah. Okay.
Number two, it would have to be a very, very close to that, and that's Anthony Green from Circus Survival. I think he's probably got one of the most unique voices, and his choice of note and melody is very a lot of the Black Keys. I love it.
Okay.
It's very
Okay.
minor, and it's beautiful. And then last up and comer, I'd have to say Brandon from Crowbar, the singer in Crowbar. He is just, God bless that man. He's got one of the most amazing and one of the strongest voices that I've ever heard in rock. I hope those guys go forever. And, all of them are amazing. Bishop, shout out to those guys. I probably sound like a broken record in the way I talk
Hey.
about Circa, but those two guys have amazing voices.
Is this the first time that you guys? Oh, and Chugs from Pigweed says hells yeah. So he's a cool dude. Your other albums that you came out with, they were mostly albums, right? But Ruthless is just a single. Is that accurate?
Ruthless is this current single right now, yes, and it's the only one out from the EP right now.
Okay. And do you guys plan on dropping any more before the end of 2021, or do you not know yet? Oh yeah, you are. Okay.
Everyone knows that everyone's been waiting for a year for our cover for When Doves Cry to hit. They've been asking since the cover campaign we did last year. So it took a lot of different versions, but we got it there, and it's pretty outstanding. So that's the next one.
Right on. Evan, did you want to say something? Because we actually have your song Ruthless, and we're going to play the music video on the show. Because it's such a great song, and we play music videos on the show because, that's what we do. So, Evan, did you have a question before we play the video?
Yeah, so I was going to say, when you were talking about, like, applying all your attention to one song and, you have fans come up and say, I loved your album, but this was my jam on it. For me personally, it was Wait off of... was it Recoil? And
yes,
it just hit at the time where like I was trying to make a decision on where I was going to go in my life, choosing was I going to stay with music or am I going to go home and try and start a life, find someone to start it with. And like I wonder like what it would have meant more, if it would have meant more if that there was a video attached to it, if there was like some sort of merchandise attached to it. Do you have any songs of your own, like one that like this should have been a single, this should have got more attention?
There's a bunch, definitely. I feel like In the Air Tonight should have been a single. I think the label should have got behind that one, and it didn't get any recognition until almost 3 years later when they started using it in the Miami Vice movie.
Were they afraid to?
I have no idea. I really don't.
Yeah, that was a great song. I loved it.
Yeah,
it was a good song. Yeah.
When we did the tour with Wicked Wisdom and sat down with Jada and Will, we were all actually in a room just talking, and Jada brought up, yeah, this is the band that did In the Air Tonight. And they all looked at us and they're like, oh man, hey, who's your managers during that one? Because they really shit the bed with that fucking song. Right? Same thing with the label, all of it.